This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and today I really want to touch on some of the experiences that people go through when they really start to decide to change, or maybe they didn't consciously decide to, but considering that where they are in their life, there has been changes and they're having to deal with it. Often, for a lot of people, when they do decide to change, and it's often after they've realized that change needs to occur. Some people would just ignore it until it gets to the point where they absolutely must change, right? As opposed to people seeing possibility, these people are changing based on necessity. And it can get really dire. It can get to the point of physical injury. It can get to emotional stress, which can then relate back to physical injury. There's a whole variety of different ways and reasons why this can occur. But there's something that I've seen really common across all of them. And I'm more than certain that Joseph Campbell talks about it in The Hero's Journey. But the thing is that when you've crossed the threshold, when you've gone past and change is inevitable, it's going to feel like for some time that you're walking through a desert by yourself. You're walking in unfamiliar terrain. You can't seem to find the resources that you feel like you need, that you're used to. You feel alone. You literally feel deserted. And all you can do is keep trudging forward, day and night. Now, this desert analogy, like you can go back to where you came from. You can go back to where you know is technically safe, but it might be killing you. Now you're in the desert. If you stay here, you're probably going to die as well. Otherwise, you'll retreat back to where you come from. And so, more often than not, during this period, it'll feel like you're not supported by those that supported you. Maybe it'll feel like you've given so much time to everyone else, but they're not returning the favor. Or maybe it'll be like, I just don't know which way to go. And that's fair enough. The most important thing during this period is that you keep moving forward. During inevitable change, during change, any change really, there's going to be a variation of this. And sometimes the desert is quite short, and that could be a couple of weeks. Sometimes it can be years. But the key thing for all of us, and this is something that I hope you come back to when you go through change at some point, it's going to feel lonely. It's going to feel like your soul is burning. You're going to probably be confused. You're probably going to need water. Don't forget to hydrate. And sleep. You may not be sleeping very well. But the most important thing is that you keep moving forward, step by step. And like I've spoken about in another podcast, take care of the Stockdale paradox as well. Of like, look at the brutal facts. You're in a position that's really difficult, really challenging, right? You may feel like you don't have much around you. And everything that happens, right? Like if you're walking and you get it, I suppose your shoe literally breaks. You can't use it anymore. It becomes useless. It becomes significantly more dramatic in the desert than it would in the city, right? Everything happens in this space, in this where you're walking through and you're trudging through the desert. Anything that happens compounds. But just remember that this is a process. It's not the final destination. You're just going through this. And this solitude, the solitude that sometimes feels forced upon us, is really a blessing, because it may be the first time in our life that we get the opportunity to sit back, really assess what it is that we want to do, and really decide in those moments, in those moments of solitude when there isn't anything around, when we're scared and we're fearful and we're facing the darkest parts of ourselves, that we get a moment to choose what our direction is. And because there's no one else around us, we're no longer leaning into this external idea of what we think we should be doing, what other people think we should be doing, who we're meant to be. We get to be us. And from there, we get to realize that we're free. And this desert was never actually, it was never there for, like, as a punishment. This isn't a punishment. We have to step back and realize that this is not us this is us being freed. It's us being liberated. We have an opportunity with this possibility in the desert walk, right? In this solitude, the possibilities allows us to really lean into us. But the key thing is that we have to understand that this isn't happening to us. It's happening for us. It's happening for us to be able to get rid of what no longer serves us, to be able to move on to what can. Because for us to grow, we have to let go of the shit that no longer serves. And sometimes that's our identity. We have to let go of all the old frames, all the old beliefs, all of the old things that got us to a point of where we are, in order to let us go to where we want to be, to our next stage, our next level, our next evolution. And so when we go through these challenges, we have to understand that this isn't there to punish us. It's there for us to level up. This challenge, this deserted feeling that you get walking through this, metaphor of a desert, is there to serve you, so you can actually find out who the fuck you are. You can silence out all the other noise and start listening to what's true for you deep down. But the key thing is, so many people feel like they're getting punished, and so they perish in the desert, right? Whatever that may mean for them, they go back to where they came from. They it could mean a whole range of things, but the key thing here is that this is for you. It's so you can shed your old skin, right? It's so you can, to go with a cliche analogy, but it's like butterflies don't hang out with caterpillars, right? And what I'm looking at there is not just the prettiness of a butterfly and compared to the lower level of a unevolved Pokemon, basically. What I'm looking at there is the fact that for you to really want to start going to the next stage, you have to be able to move through something that is challenging and difficult. And in doing so, to be able to go that through grace and face what's challenging and move through it, because most of the time what's challenging is within us. It's not outside. And in this time of solitude that we often experience during this period, is that we get a chance to see what's inside for us, to start taking ownership for what's really fucking hard in our life. And in doing that, we actually start to realize that we put ourselves in these positions. And funnily enough, it's just at the times that we start to take ownership and realize that, this is just what it is. It's then we start to move towards our oasis. Then it starts to appear. Whatever that is for you, right? It's on an individual basis. But the beauty of all this is just remembering that when you're going through a hard time, it won't last. But whatever you do, don't lose. Do not lose the lessons that are on offer for you during that period, right? Because at some point you'll look back on that and you're like, thank fucking God for that. Thank God, whoever God is to you, that I was able to go through that process, because without that I wouldn't be the person I am today. And I know people listening to this have a time in their life that was challenging, that looking back they wouldn't change a thing. And if you're going through a hard time now, understand that in the future you also has an opportunity to say the exact same thing. And that's the power of this. So, the walk through the desert is not a punishment, it's a blessing. And the way that we see that changes everything. On that note, team, if you found this podcast beneficial, it would mean the world to me if you'd pass it on to someone else that you think would also find it beneficial, especially if you know someone that's walking through the desert at the moment. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. You can jump on Facebook and search Mood Prep Online and join the conversation there. Otherwise, team, that's it. I am out. Until tomorrow, peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick. Slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
Happiness to be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.